I don't know about where you guys are, but here it is hot and these dips are sure to be refreshing. I am a huge fan of appetizers. You guys already know that, but cold dips during the summertime, during the spring, when you're having some sort of event, or if you just want a nice cold dip for an appetizer or for lunch or something, man, they're so good. These are unforgettable, guys. I'm talking, you're gonna be making these over and over and taking them to other people's houses because so delicious. We're gonna be making a caprese dip out of this world, okay? I am making a small portion, but feel free to double, triple, however much you feel like you're gonna need for wherever it is that you're taking it. Or if you're just having it for your family, you might wanna do the same size that we are doing. You can make this in a casserole dish. I just think this dish is so pretty, so I'm gonna use this one today. And we are starting with some Byrds cheese. So I'm using the garlic and fine herb, but you can use whichever your favorite flavor is. You do want it to be a little softened, honestly. Mine is probably not quite as softened as I would want it to be for this, but we're gonna roll with it. So let's just start to spread this out. This is our bottom layer. And the more softened it is, the easier this part will be. It's such an easy dip too. One thing I love about cold dips is you don't even have to turn your oven on. It's just an assembly process, which makes it so fantastic, just so easy. Let's just set that to the side for a minute. It'll continue to soften. I probably could have done this other step before doing that and that would have softened, but it's fine. Let's take some tomatoes. I'm using these Petite Medley snacking tomatoes. You guys know I love these so much because you get the different colors. I'm just gonna use about a handful. There's not, for me, you guys know, I don't measure. Let's quarter these. Now some of them I actually might do more than quarter because like this is a rather large snacking tomato, so we'll cut it a couple times. And then I'm just gonna put them into a little bowl here because we're gonna mix it together with some other stuff. Some of you probably do not have children in school anymore. Some of you probably have grandkids and stuff, but what are your summer plans now that kids are out of school, grandkids are out of school? Do you have anything fun coming up? I would love to know. We typically don't travel during the summer because we are a homeschool family. We often travel when everybody else does not travel. So we did our vacation in May, and then we usually do another vacation either in October or the beginning of December because most people, if they're traveling, it's not during that time. So we love to travel then, but I would love to know, what are your big plans for the summer? Even if you're not going somewhere, do you have a summer project that you're working on? Maybe you have a garden or you're, renovating something, or maybe your summer goal is just to chill, which is completely fine. We've got all of that. Now I have a half of a mozzarella ball left from dinner last night. We're gonna cut this up. Now, I said in that recipe as well, you can buy mozzarella pearls, which are really easy for this recipe, but this was on sale. So I often will go with whatever is on sale. So I don't mind putting in a little bit of extra work if it means that I'm gonna save a couple bucks. So we're just gonna cut this into pieces and then add it to the tomatoes. Let's just stir this together. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil into this. You can skip that and drizzle the top of your dish with olive oil, but I think it works well to mix it in. Also, I would suggest, if you don't think you're gonna eat yours right away, maybe you're gonna store it in the fridge for a bit, I would pat dry the tomatoes. We are planning on eating this right now. So I'm not worried about them releasing a ton of water and getting it all into the dish. Okay, just a little bit of olive oil here. This is actually avocado oil, but either way, it's fine. And I think that's the last chopping I need to do. Okay, I'm gonna put this mixture all over the top. I don't know if we need all of that. Let's see. We've got some good color here. I'm gonna save this because honestly, I will eat this just like this. Throw some basil in there and you're good to go. Now, I actually already cut up basil yesterday, or chopped it up a little bit. So we're just gonna sprinkle with some basil. Actually, some of those are not chopped very well. Oh, you know what? I've got my herb scissors right here. This is so pretty. I love the colors here. Anything Caprese, the colors are just stunning. I mean, look at this. Wow. If you don't like feta, obviously skip this part, but you can take some feta and just, oh, that's more than I anticipated, but that's okay. I meant to just sprinkle a little bit over the top. It's fine. Oh, I mean, this wouldn't be feeding the birds if we didn't make a blunder. My friend Mandy messaged me the other night. I'm sure you guys follow her. Mandy in the making. It's funny because I get messages from you guys every once in a while saying, I don't know if you know Mandy, but she, you know, and they'll tell me something that she did on her channel. Mandy is one of my best friends. We talk every single day. We see each other at least once a month. Yeah, we're fantastic friends. But the other night she messaged me and she was like, have you ever tried feta and watermelon? It is delicious. I was like, yes, it's some of the best flavors actually. And I was telling her about the first time that I had it. So good. She did a video with that recently. You should go check it out. It's very, very good. She did a couple different summer recipes. We're gonna take some balsamic glaze. You can absolutely just make this, but we almost always have it in the fridge because it's good for a long time. Let's just drizzle some balsamic glaze here. It's stunning. It's so pretty. I mean, imagine you're taking this to somebody's house and this is what they're seeing. It is so beautiful. I love it. You need to witness just how amazing this is. I want this to be my dinner. It's so good. It's so delicious. Y'all, I'm telling you, you have to make this because it is incredible. It's Caprese, but it's better because of that boursin cheese. It adds a little more depth to it. Life-changing. This is a dip that we have been making for years. I was actually thinking about it when the last time I made this dip was, and I'm pretty sure I was pregnant with my daughter. So over 12 years ago. Y'all, it is one of those that when we discovered it, we were making this over and over again. So, so good. Let's get started on it. Now, just for the sake of storing this, I'm gonna make it in this bowl right here so that I can put a covering over it and keep it in the refrigerator. But if you have a nice flat serving dish, let me show you. It actually also looks really pretty on something like this where you can see all the different layers together. I'm gonna make it in the bowl just for the sake of today's video, but feel free to do it whatever way you want. Any type of serving dish is totally fine. A bowl like this where you can see through it, that's great too. I've made this before in I believe it's called a trifle dish. It's all the way up here and it's way too hard to show you, but you can see the layers. I'm actually gonna start with all the cutting and prepping for this dish. So I'm using these little tomatoes. These are these grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes? Cherubs, that's what they're called. And you guys know I love the colorful ones, the gourmet medley. You can absolutely use those. I'm not using them today just because this is what I picked up at the grocery store for this recipe because they were on sale. Okay, so I'm just cutting these into, I want them to be small enough that you can easily pick up a bite on a chip. You don't want them to be so big that, you know, everything falls off the little chip when you're getting a bite. So I will say, although this one is super easy to assemble, there is a little bit of prep work involved, which is fine. Trust me, it's worth it, okay? Very, very good. If you are using a large tomato, which you absolutely can, and I have done before, I do suggest seeding the tomato because if it's gonna sit in the refrigerator for a couple of days, which also we've done before, it will start to gather the water on the top just from those tomatoes. So, you know, pay attention to that. Obviously, you can also just squeeze out the extra water, which I think I'm just gonna lay these on a paper towel for a minute and just let the extra water kind of soak into that paper towel. No, I almost dropped the cucumber. So we'll just let those kind of sit there for a minute. Okay, now with the, what's this called? Cucumber, I am going to seed this because, again, the water content. So this part, not gonna use. Why can't I keep things on the cutting board? And again with this, just little tiny pieces for bite size. Now in the many number of times that I've made this, you know, many, many years ago, and I'm doing all of this from memory. That's how many times we've made it, even though it's been like 12 years. I have done this before without removing the seeds from the cucumber, and within a day, it really didn't look pretty at all anymore, just because of all that water. All right, friends, while I am cutting this up, tell me in the comments, what are your 4th of July plans? Do you guys do anything? Do you go anywhere? Do you just hang out at home? I actually just wrote about it in my newsletter that our neighbors always do a really fun little fireworks display, and they always invite us over, which is great. We get to just kind of stick around here and do that. If you're not signed up for my newsletter, just head over to my website. You can sign up for that. And also, when you register on my website, it's actually going to send you my top 5 favorite recipes. So don't miss an opportunity to sign up over there at feedingthebirds.com. That's also where you can get a lot of the recipes that I make in my videos. I have my Kalamata olives, and they are actually already sliced. I'm still going to chop them just a little bit more, but conveniently, that's already done. Okay, pressing the water out. I've seen a couple of dips like this. I've actually seen one where they put cream cheese at the bottom of it. I'm sure that's good too. I've never done it that way. We always use Greek yogurt and hummus. And I've also seen where people add onion. Obviously, that's not what we're gonna do, but purple onion I do think would look really pretty in this. Okay, so just a rough chop on these since they are already cut up. We need to make up our Greek yogurt mixture. For the Greek yogurt, I'm probably gonna use about a cup. Not measuring. I know that's probably shocking. I'm putting in just a little bit of oil. I mean, like less than a teaspoon probably. I do like to add a little bit of red wine vinegar. This is very similar, if you're noticing, to tzatziki sauce. Okay, so maybe a teaspoon of that. You don't want it to get too watery, so you gotta be careful. Okay, let's add a pinch of salt, touch of lemon juice. I mean, a touch. Oh, that was a little more than a touch. You can also zest a lemon if you want a little bit more of that. Was that you? What is the deal? You smell the Greek yogurt? She loves Greek yogurt, but she prefers vanilla Greek yogurt. We've got some dill. You can use fresh dill or you can use the dried dill here, and I add a lot of dill. I'm not even gonna pretend I'm not. Oh, I had a couple of you ask, what is our cat's name? Technically, her name is Stuffing because we got her one Thanksgiving. How many years ago was that? She's not that old. You think she's almost 10? We need to look back. I thought she was closer to 7 or 8. Okay, technically her name is Stuffing. However, because we got her around Thanksgiving, but we've almost never called her Stuffing. We just call her Kitty. We always call her Kitty, and she doesn't respond to Stuffing. She barely responds to Kitty, but she definitely doesn't respond to Stuffing. Okay, I think that is all the prep work. So let's start the assembly process. Now, I've made this really easy on myself, and I bought hummus. Oh, the reason I mentioned that I bought the hummus is because you guys have seen me make hummus before. It's really easy to make, but I was looking for a really quick dip. I wanted something that we could all have in the next couple of hours. Then on top of that, take your Greek yogurt mixture. We're gonna start to spread that out. I try not to mix the 2 layers, but I mean, they're all gonna get mixed when you dip the chip in anyway. Okay, let's add in cucumber, tomato. Look how vibrant it is. This actually might be the recipe that started me on the color journey. The everything needs to have different colors, because once you see this done and you see all the colors in here, it's just so pretty. Now I do feta. I've also mixed feta with the Greek yogurt before too. You can do it either way. And the olives. Top the whole thing with a little more dill. Stunning. It's stunning. Okay, so normally we serve this with pita chips, but I actually bought these olive oil Crunchmaster chips from Sam's Club. So we have a lot of them. And so I didn't want to buy any more chips because we didn't need more chips.
I prefer these because I think the pita chips are too thick.
Yeah, these are nice and thin. And I told you guys a while back that I couldn't find these anymore in the grocery store. I found them at Sam's, so I jumped on that opportunity.
It's been a while since we had this.
It's so good though.
It is so good.
It's as good as I remember. I was thinking about the last time I made this, and I'm pretty sure it was either I was pregnant with our daughter or it was one of our very first times at Litchfield. So we were renting a beach place at Pawleys Island for a long time. We'd been going there for years, actually. And one of the first times that we were there, we were trying to do like a baby moon thing, but we had no money to do it. And when we got there, I was craving this dip so bad. And we went to the grocery store and we bought everything we needed to make this. And I just remember us sitting there and eating it for like 3 days at the beach.
Yeah.
Because it was just so good.
Was it Fresh Market we went to, maybe?
Probably. So not only was it super good, but it was like 4 times the amount it would cost if we had gone to Food Line.
It was either Fresh Market or the grocery store right across from that beach place. Changed hands so many times. At first it was Bilo. Yeah. Then it was Piggly Wiggly. Now it's a Food Line.
Now it's a Food Line, yeah. But it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. And if there's elements that you don't like, maybe you don't like feta, just leave that out because I think, honestly, any one of the elements removed, it's still going to be delicious.
Well, and if there's filaments that you do like, put more of those in there.
On a hot day.
True. This is a great summer dip.
Yeah, for sure. We are making a fig and goat cheese and prosciutto dip. Let me just tell you, I actually started the process of recording this a couple of weeks ago. I pre-made the dip. I didn't add everything to the top of it, put it in the refrigerator with the intent on finishing up the filming that evening, and we were gonna have this at dinner. I ended up getting really sick that day, and so we didn't film it. We didn't finish it. We didn't even heat it, but we did eat it. We ate it as a cold dip, and it was delicious like that. So tonight we actually are gonna eat it as a hot dip, but I wanna let you know, even if you don't bake this and you don't serve it warm, it's also delicious as a cold dip. Again, making a half recipe because we just don't need it with everything else that we're having with dinner tonight. I'm gonna cut up 3 pieces. Actually, I might just tear them up. We've got some prosciutto. 3 pieces of prosciutto. Let me finish my sentence. I'm going to add 3 pieces of prosciutto to this bowl. If you just wanna tear it, that is completely fine. Now, if you don't like prosciutto, I think you could use bacon or, I mean, you could use ham, that's what prosciutto is, but it's very, very good. You could probably actually leave the prosciutto out and make this a vegetarian dip. It adds a saltiness to the dip, but it doesn't, I think it would actually still be really good even without it. I've got 4 ounces of goat cheese that we're gonna add into this. I've let this come to room temperature because it makes it significantly easier to stir together. It's gonna be really easy to stir together if I can get it opened. I've been asked before, what if I don't like goat cheese? I mean, just think soft cheeses. So when you go into the grocery store and you're trying to find a substitute, I mean, this one's also gonna go with cream cheese. You probably could make it just cream cheese, but just look around at the soft cheeses and that's gonna help you kind of decide what you could use instead of goat cheese. We are going to add in between 2 and 4 ounces of cream cheese. Last time I did add 4 ounces, so I made the goat cheese and the cream cheese the same amount, 4 and 4. But you can go more or less, it's completely up to you. If you want a really prominent goat cheese flavor, then add more goat cheese than you do cream cheese. It's actually alarming how easy this recipe is. Like, it's gonna look like you spent hours making this, but it's really, really easy. So combined together, you can use a hand mixer, you can use a KitchenAid mixer. My cheeses have come to room temperature, so they're pretty easy to mix together. And all of it is gonna go into my little dish. Obviously, you can make a much bigger version, but we're just doing, what size is this? 7 by 5 dish. Okay, now we just spread this out. Okay, now we have some fig jam, or this is fig preserves. We're gonna spread this on the top. I do like to mix it a bit in the jar before taking it out. It just makes it spread a little easier. And you need about a 1/2 cup. So A little bit more than that. So we're just gonna spread all the way to the edges. Make sure we cover the whole thing. I'm telling you, you could eat it just like this without doing anything else. It's so good. We've had it like this. I can vouch for the fact that it is delicious just as a cold dip as well. We are gonna add crushed pistachios to the top of this. I actually had my son work on taking some pistachios out of their shell, and then we just crushed them up. And y'all, this is where it's at right here. We're huge pistachio fans in our house. Whenever we have them available, they don't last long. I actually can't decide whether I like it better heated or cold. Both are really good. You can absolutely go either way with this one. It's sweet and savory at the same time. I could make this one over and over again, and we will love it every time. If you still need more inspiration and you need another dip, check out this video right here. I have a dessert dip in this video that just went live a couple of days ago, and it's really good and super easy to make. I'm talking, if somebody calls you and says, hey, we're gonna be at your house in 5 minutes and you wanna throw something together, you can actually make this in that amount of time and still probably have time to clean up the living room before they get there. So easy. Our verse today comes from John 16:33. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, I would love if you would subscribe and stick around. Hit that red subscribe button. Also, you can hit the notification bell and you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But don't leave YouTube just yet. Check out the video that I have listed right here on the screen. You're gonna love this one. Have a great week.